The 2024 M4 iMac, it might not look all that different than last year's M3 or even the M1 for that matter, but there are a few changes for 2024 that are really nice depending on your needs. Now, if you're thinking of maybe moving on from that M1 version, or perhaps you're still running on an Intel iMac, I'll give you my thoughts on what using this computer has been like for the last few weeks and whether or not you should upgrade. And honestly, let's just get the upgrade question out of the way here first, but I hope you do choose to watch the rest of this video. But assuming your Mac is just becoming too slow and outdated for your needs, then obviously you should consider upgrading. And the M4 iMac is a really great option, especially if you have an Intel machine or perhaps the M1 model. Again, if you're thinking this isn't quite cutting it anymore and you want to upgrade, then I think it's the right time to do it. It has quite a few new upgrades for 2024, and the M4 chip is probably one of the biggest changes because it's just really, really good. These Apple Silicon chips are just getting better and better and better. So if you're getting a new M4 Mac, whatever it might be, whether it be the M4, M4 Pro, or M4 Max, you're going to have tremendous power, and all of these machines are capable of doing the basics really, really well. So browsing the web, writing docs, video calls, and even gaming. Yes, that's right, I said it, Apple is still pushing really hard in the gaming space, and I was recently at another game showcase where I got to see so many incredible games for the Mac, on the Apple Arcade ecosystem, and even games that are just being released separately on the Mac. I was playing these games on an iMac, a Mac Mini, or a MacBook, and honestly, I was really just blown away at how well they performed. Games like Cyberpunk, really, really great graphics and needs good performance on an M4 machine. It was just running so well on this iMac, on a Mac Mini, whatever it might be, and it had no lag, dropped frames, or anything that would hinder gameplay. Just smooth gameplay and fantastic graphics. So if you want to do the things that I mentioned, you'll be happy to know that all of them from the base model M4 all the way up to the M4 Max will be an excellent choice. Obviously, you can configure the rest to your needs. Now, I often talk about video editing and creating content because that's what I use a Mac for like 95% of my needs. And so while I do use machines with some beefier specs, I often find it refreshing that yeah, I could do 90% of my content on this M4 iMac or an M4 Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro, and I'll be just fine with it. I don't find myself wishing that I had more power or anything like that. Obviously, when you switch from a Mac Studio all the way down to something like one of these lower entry-level machines, yeah, you're gonna notice that, hey, maybe things aren't happening as quickly as they might have on that beefier machine. But most of the time, I really just don't find myself needing that extra power on a regular basis. Now, this machine that I was using is pretty well equipped. It has 32 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD storage. Do I think you need all of that? Probably not. I think 16 or at most 24 is probably good for most of you out there. Now, I have used a base model M4 machine and it behaves pretty much the same for me, so I wouldn't stress too much about my setup here, but just get the configuration that you can afford and that you need and that can last you the longest. So that's a quick summary of my time with an M4 iMac from a performance standpoint. Now let's talk about what's new with this 2024 model and things that I really enjoy. First, let's start with the colors. This year, we have the same colors that were offered before, but the shades are a bit different. So you still get the same green, pink, orange, purple, blue, and silver options. Oh, and by the way, yellow, which is the model that I have here. But they do look a bit different than last year's or the year before that, or the model before that. But it still has the same bold, darker back color with a lighter pastel front. And if you know me, you probably know that I don't love that, but it's whatever, I'm used to it. I really do like the back of this yellow machine. It's like a bit mustardy goldish, and I think it stands out really, really well. And if you have a warm, natural space at home to put this machine in, especially this yellow color, I think it'll fit the aesthetics perfectly. I mean, the iMac honestly is a aesthetic first machine in my opinion, with at least the way that it's designed. It's meant to be a fun pop of color in a cool modern home or office. If you don't care about that, which probably you don't, then do what I did and go with the silver from last year. It still looks really, really good. timeless, and classic. Now, the back of the machine has 2 or 4 USB-C ports, depending on which model you get. But perhaps one of the most underrated aspects of this year's M4 iMac is that all 4 of these ports are Thunderbolt 4, as opposed to last year, where if you got the machine that had 4 available, only 2 were Thunderbolt and 2 were just standard USB-C. Again, this is not available on that 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, $1299 base model. It's only 2 Thunderbolt ports, which again is good, but that's the only ones you have. It's only for that 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU configurations and up. Apple has also updated the iMac with a 12-megapixel front camera with center stage support that keeps you centered in the frame. Oh, and it also supports desk view. And I still don't know how this feature works, and I still want to know how many of you use this on a regular basis. I always forget that it exists, but whenever I turn it on, I find it crazy that I can show off the keys or my phone or whatever I might want to show off that's on my desk. But it is available on this new iMac if you're an avid user of that feature. As far as the display goes, it's still this beautiful 24-inch 4.5K Retina display. It looks absolutely stunning, but something new this year is the ability to configure this iMac to have the $200 optional Nano texture display. And I actually have it on the Mac here for the first time. And I have to say, if you work in a room filled with windows and lights like I do, where it could provide an annoying glare, then you'll definitely love and maybe need this optional nano texture display. The only downside is that I feel like the display is just ever so slightly less crisp than usual. And obviously that's the anti-reflective coating that's providing that slight matte finish, and it just dulls the text out a little bit. I saw the nano texture display briefly on the M4 MacBook Pro, and even then it was brief and it was at an Apple store. I just didn't feel like it looked like this one. I don't know if it's like the larger display, but you will get used to it like anything after a while. And so, I was coming from a Pro Display XDR on a daily basis, and so that difference was very drastic for me at first. But if it's your primary monitor and you really don't know any better, then you'll be fine. And the reduction in reflections and glare is honestly priceless. And you'll see here with my studio display that there's quite a lot of reflections coming from the windows. When you put the iMac in the same spot, that kind of just goes away. The peripherals this year are finally lightning free. So if you get a Magic Keyboard and Magic Mouse or trackpad, depending on which one you go with, you don't need to have a lightning cable anymore, especially if you're USB-C. Everything, this is like the last thing that we need to have USB-C. And so now you can get that. And if you don't have any intentions of buying this iMac, but you're still watching this video for some reason, you'll be happy to know that you can pick up a version without having to buy an iMac. They sell them on the Apple Store. Apple Intelligence is also available on all of the new M4 Macs, and so obviously you get it here on this iMac. And I think I'm going to do a full video review of Apple Intelligence once 15.2 drops, and that brings us Image Playground, Genmoji, and ChatGPT. But for right now, writing tools, summarizing notifications, that's on by default. Those are really the 2 things that I use the most when it comes to Apple Intelligence on a Mac. Sometimes I remember that I can type to Siri, and that is kind of useful. It'll be way more useful when Siri gains that personal context and being able to just look at all of your apps and your personal information, which sounds scary, but can be super useful depending on what you need it for. And that's coming soon. It won't be in the 15.2 update, but hopefully sometime in the near future. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. The M4 iMac starts at $1299 for that 8-core CPU and GPU base model, but I recommend just bumping it up a little bit for the extra cores and the performance. But most importantly, I think living with 2 Thunderbolt ports is kind of tough. So getting that extra 2 and making it 4 total is really, really great. And then of course, get yourself some more storage. You don't maybe need to go crazy with the RAM, but 24 gigs is probably good, especially if you plan on keeping this machine for a while. You might as well future-proof it a little bit with a little bit extra specs, assuming that you can afford it and that you really think you might need it later on down the road. It's a fantastic machine for the everyday user, and no matter the use case, again, assuming you don't need more power from the M4 Pro or M4 Max, you'll be just fine with this new iMac. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you planning on picking one up? If so, what color, what configuration, what are you using it for? And if you already got one, all of those same questions, let me know in the comments down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.